Hi, I'm Movie Man. I'm an octopus who reviews movies, and today's review is going to be on. Now, this was a movie which I knew about. I'll be honest, I've never really been too huge of a Transformers fan. I've seen pretty much all of the live action movies. And I'll be honest, all the films that Michael Bay directed, I'm not really a fan of. I think the first movie and the fourth movie are both fine films. And yeah, I think the rest of them are all just really bad. Um, although Bumblebee from 2018, that movie I actually really enjoyed. I actually thought Bumblebee was genuinely a very good film. And of course, last year we had Rise of the Beasts, which I know when I first reviewed Rise of the Beasts, I gave it honestly a very good review. Although I don't know, looking back, was Rise of the Beasts really as good of a movie as I thought it was back then? I don't know, looking back, it kind of did have some flaws, alright, to be fair. It's probably one that, maybe worth a rewatch. But, in spite of that movie's flaws, I did honestly enjoy it. Like, I haven't really had too much of an experience, with Transformers animation wise. I did watch, the first season of that Transformers Siege show on Netflix from a few years ago now. I actually remember really enjoying it, but I didn't watch any of the other seasons that they made since. But anyway, so now this year we have gotten a new Transformers movie, only this time it's an animated film. And it seemed interesting. I was a bit skeptical about it. I mean, given the fact that it's directed by Josh Cooley, the same guy who also directed Toy Story 4. But I mean, I still had hope, so maybe it could be a good movie. Now I know people weren't really too huge on the trailers for this one. I know a lot of people said the trailers were kind of bad. Like they just made the movie look like really kiddish and stuff. But I mean, from the trailers I saw, I was kind of thinking that maybe it could be a fun time. It may not be, an absolutely amazing movie or anything, but, it could potentially be, a generally fun time. Yeah, it came out in America nearly a month ago now. I saw alright that the reviews for it were actually looking very good. But in Ireland, we only got the movie there just this past weekend as of me recording this video. Yeah, I know they released this one in October over here. Not really a very fitting month to release this film, if you ask me, but anyways, yeah, so we finally got the movie. And I went to go and see it for myself. I will say, having seen it for myself now, I think whoever edits that trailer together needs to be fired. Like, I mean, okay, granted, maybe it might not be the editor's fault per se. Like, I don't know, maybe it was the studio that, like, kind of got them to, put in a bunch of those, jokes and stuff, but I'm not gonna lie, after having seen the movie for myself, the trailers were actually a bit misleading, honestly, because, like, the trailers just made this movie look like it was just, like, pure, like, comedy and stuff, which, I mean, granted, there is a fair bit of that in the movie, but that's not to say the whole movie is like that, because I'm not gonna lie, for a PG rated movie, this film actually got surprisingly a bit dark. But sorry, I'll get more into that later. In terms of what I actually thought of the movie though, I'm glad to say that I actually really liked this movie. Yeah, I have to say, I actually had a good time with this one. Like, in fact, it might actually be my new favorite Transformers movie. It has to be between, this film and Bumblebee. I kind of have to think about it. But, like, in all fairness though, this movie was actually really good. I actually had a good time with this film. Getting into my thoughts, I'll start off by saying the animation in this movie is really good. Like, this movie is honestly a really, gorgeous film to look at. Like, there's honestly some stunning visuals in the movie. Like, the worlds of Cybertron just look so nice. Like, it's honestly just a really good looking film. And like, I think all the character designs are really good. How, like, the Transformers themselves look, and how they, replicate the style seen in all the previous media and stuff. Yeah, they do really well with all that, and I will say I really like the way that they animate a lot of the battle scenes, because, like, during the climax in particular, when there's just this big fight happening, yeah, like, there's a lot of really fast-paced movements, and, like, we see them all actually, like, using their abilities and stuff and transforming, yeah. It's honestly really nice to look at. Like, I really love how, like, fast-paced a lot of these battle sequences get and stuff, yeah. It is honestly really nice. But yeah, overall, I have to say the animation in this movie was genuinely really good. Now, in terms of the film's pace, now, this movie isn't too long. Like, it's an hour and 44 minutes, I believe. Which, honestly, I think, it's an okay run time for a movie like this. Well, how this movie is paced, because you may have seen in, like, the trailers and stuff, we have, like, our main characters, going on, like, this little journey, like, up to, like, the surface of their worlds. I will say it kind of takes a bit for the movie to actually get to that, because we have a fair amount of screen time where, like, we're kind of being introduced to our characters and getting to know them a bit. It takes a little while for, like, us to actually go, like, on this journey, but I think it honestly works well enough to, where you can, actually believe, the chemistry with the characters. And yeah, honestly, I did think it works well for the movie. And the movie can kind of go at kind of a slow enough pace. We do get a fair amount of scenes we're kind of in, just one location, and we're kind of, seeing everything happening. We're being told a lot of stuff, yeah. Honestly, I think it worked well for the movie, and yeah, it actually made for quite good pacing. With the pacing being a bit slow, it actually did genuinely work well for the movie, and I don't think it will really bother the kids or anything. Overall, I thought it was actually good pacing. I will say the sound and music in this film was also very good. I think a lot of the sound effects that we hear with all these noises of the Transformers and stuff, they're honestly very good. And as well as that, I think the movie overall has a pretty good score. I think overall Brian Tyler, he did a good job, with the score for this film. It's genuinely a pretty good score, and especially during the action sequence during the climax, it really kind of helps, with the suspense of it all, and kind of helps make it more, exciting and stuff. Yeah, honestly, I think it worked well for the movie. So yeah, overall, I think the sound and music in this movie was actually quite good. Now in terms of the characters and the voice acting, I did genuinely really like the main two characters of Orion Pax and D-16. You genuinely feel, the bond between the two of them as friends, and they honestly do have very good chemistry with each other. And now if you kind of know your Transformers and stuff, then obviously you know what's gonna happen with the two of them. They're inevitably going to become Optimus Prime and Megatron. And during the film, especially in the second half of the movie, we slowly start to see, this whole downfall of their friendship, and how they inevitably, grow apart. And even though it's coming, it is honestly quite sad regardless. Just cause these two as friends, but if you inevitably know what's gonna happen, it's actually genuinely quite tragic to watch. But I really like both of them as characters. D-16 especially, I thought was actually a really good character. Especially when he kind of finds out the truth, and slowly we see him start to become Megatron. Yeah, I thought they executed it really well. But overall, I really liked both of them as characters. I will say the other two characters who joined them, Elisa 1 and B-127, the latter of whom we know will eventually be known as Bumblebee. I thought they were both pretty good characters as well. I thought Elisa was a good character. She was definitely a very strong female character, but she worked well for the movie, and B, I thought, was a solid character as well. Like, he actually did have some funny moments. Now, I don't think all of his humor landed, because I think clearly he was kind of, the comic relief character for, like, younger viewers, and there's times where, like, he can also be a bit unfunny and stuff, but nonetheless, he was a solid comic relief character. He was actually kind of funny at times. I won't get too much into some of the other characters like Alpha Trion, Sentinel Prime, Starscream, etc., etc., but overall, I think they serve their roles in the plot very well, and they're like genuinely memorable characters. I will say the voice acting in this movie was surprisingly really good, actually. Like, especially like from Chris Hemsworth as Orion and Brian Tyree Henry as D, because I know like we have a lot of like well-known actors in this cast, and I've always thought it would be nice if like we had an animated movie with like a cast that had like genuine professional voice actors, but I'm not gonna lie though, the voice cast for this movie actually did a very good job. Like, Chris Hemsworth, I thought, was genuinely really good as Orion Pax. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I genuinely forgot I was listening to Thor. Like, he actually did really well here. And Brian Tyree Henry was really good as T. Like, especially throughout the movie when he slowly starts to become Megatron. Like, I genuinely felt, the pain in his voice. It felt believable. I thought the rest of the cast overall did solid enough. Like, I thought Scarlett Johansson and Keegan Michael Key were overall pretty good as Alicia and B. And some of the other supporting actors like Laurence Fishburne, John Hamm, Steve Buscemi, they actually did genuinely very good in their roles. Like, I actually forgot that like I was listening, to voice actors. I thought I was actually listening to characters. Like, that's honestly how good the voice acting in this movie was. So overall, the characters and the voice acting were both very good, honestly. In terms of the plot of the movie now, we have like this whole plot of our main characters go on this journey to the surface of Cybertron so that they can find the matrix of leadership. But there's a bit worse to the plot. It kind of serves as like kind of an origin story for Optimus Prime and Megatron, and kind of the whole like war between the Autobots and the Decepticons. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was really well done. Like, especially like with Orion and D and their friendship and how it starts to fall apart. Yeah, I think that is really what carries this whole movie, what kind of really makes it as compelling as it is. Just watching these two best friends slowly, turn on each other, it's actually tragic and it's quite compelling. Now the humor in this movie, I think overall is decent enough. Like, there actually is some funny moments in the movie now. Now, I don't think all the jokes in this movie landed. There were some that were, a bit unfunny, but nonetheless, I actually thought the humour was solid enough, but as I said earlier, the trailers did not do a very good job with marketing this movie because they made it look like it was going to be all comedy. And don't get me wrong, there's a fair bit of comedy in the movie, but with that being said, it's actually a bit dark. Like, I'm not going to lie, it actually took some risks that I wasn't expecting a PG rated film to do. Like, I'm not going to lie, it actually got surprisingly a bit dark, but I will say kudos to this movie for actually, kind of going there and actually, being willing to actually be genuinely quite dark. But like, it was overall a very compelling plot. Like, I mean, especially enjoy it if like you're a fan of Transformers, but like, even if like you're not a huge fan of Transformers, you would actually still enjoy this movie, just like the compelling dynamic with Orion and D. But if you actually want to get into the whole franchise, I actually think like it's kind of a good movie to start with. It kind of establishes everything well, and it gives you an idea of the worlds and everything. Yeah, honestly, I overall thought this was a really good plot, with how they executed this, and like, especially with the dynamic with Orion and D. I thought it was really good, honestly. So yeah, overall the plot of the movie was actually quite good. In terms of the film's narrative structure now, I know kind of the whole concept with the movies, they go on this mission to find the Matrix computer chip, but honestly that's kind of really only in the movie for a bit of it. Like, we have, this whole dynamic with Orion and D, and as I said, that is kind of the driving force of the plot, and it works genuinely really well, and like, it actually makes for this whole great dynamic, and with how we start to see these best friends slowly fall apart. Yeah, it's tragic, but it's honestly compelling to watch. Like, they're well written characters, they're voiced really well. It's good to watch. And like, the movie does go a bit like into the whole past with Cybertron and the Primes and stuff, and there is a fair amount of exposition. Some viewers may be a bit annoyed by that, but it works well for the movie. Like, it's genuinely compelling to watch, and how it all leads into everything, how everything ties together, and how it all culminates in the climax. Yeah, overall, it makes for genuinely a very good narrative structure. So overall, I thought the narrative structure in the movie was very good. So overall, I really enjoyed Transformers 1. Like, there was really good animation, there was like some well written characters, there was very good voice acting, and like, the whole plot with Orion and D and how their friendship falls apart and everything. Like, it's compelling to watch, and it's actually willing to take some risks for a PG rated movie, actually be quite dark. I thought they did well with that. I don't know if I called the movie absolutely amazing, because like I said, some of the humor doesn't really work that well, and like I wouldn't call it like absolutely outstanding, but nonetheless, I really did enjoy this movie, and like, I think overall it's a good movie for kids, and like, if you're a fan of the franchise, I think you'll have a great time with this one. Like, even if you're not a huge Transformers fan, I think it does a good job of kind of explaining things. Like, if you want to get into the franchise, it's a good movie to start with. So overall, I really enjoyed this movie, and I think if you'll be interested to watch it, it's definitely worth a watch. So with that, I am going to give Transformers 1 a strong 8 out of 10. So with that, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.